I never thought a single vibration from my phone could feel like a door slamming shut, but that's exactly what happened the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. I was sitting in a crowded cafe downtown, steam rising off a cup of burnt espresso, closing the biggest deal of my career, and then a message popped up from my mother that I should have ignored it. Habit 1, Leo, sweetheart, we're keeping Thanksgiving small this year. Nora and Damien are hosting. She wants the guest list to look curated. It's nothing personal. We'll grab coffee next time you're in town. Love, Mom. I stared at the message long enough for my espresso to go cold, curated, like I was an accessory that didn't match the furniture that I set my phone down, smiled politely at the executives across from me, and went right back to explaining why my tech firm was worth every decimal of the 9-figure acquisition we were about to finalize. That if you've ever been treated like the family disappointment while secretly outgrowing everyone's expectations, keep watching. Because what happened after that text still feels like a movie I somehow ended up starring in. Let me take you back 6 years that I'd graduated with a computer science degree and immediately committed the grave sin of not following the path my family had planned for me. My older brother Damien went Ivy League, corporate law, the whole 9 yards. He had an apartment with white marble counters and rugs you weren't supposed to walk on. He collected wine he didn't even like, he just liked what owning it said about him. When he brought Nora home, she took one look at me in my thrift store hoodie and labeled me like a file folder, the underachieving sibling. She didn't say it out loud. She said it with a smile too tight and eyes too busy scanning the room for someone more impressive. While Damien was being applauded for his prestigious career, I was scraping together enough money to build a company no one thought would survive the year. Sentinel Forge, a tiny cybersecurity outfit in a 1-bedroom apartment with peeling paint and a kitchen sink that rattled every time the upstairs neighbor sneezed. My only employee back then was my college friend, Jonah. The two of us spent our days cold calling small businesses, trying to convince them we could protect their data better than the overpriced firms ignoring them. We're gonna build a fortress for the people no one else cares about. Jonah told me during our second week that he was right. Clients trickled in. 10 became 50. 50 became hundreds. We created protocols that actually worked for small budgets. We licensed tools. We scaled. We innovated. We survived. My family didn't notice. To them, I was always Leo who works with computers, like I repaired cracked screens for pocket money. Every time I visited home, Damien would slide job postings across the table like I was a charity case. You should apply to this, he'd say. Stable pay. Good title. Better than the startup gamble. He'd never asked how my company was doing. Not once, Nora. She treated my existence like a smudge on her perfect world. At their engagement dinner, she introduced me to her parents without even looking in my direction. This is Damien's brother. He does tech things. Tech things. Sentinel Forge had already secured $1 million contract that year, but sure, tech things. I played along. Wore the same hoodie. Drove my beat-up car. Let them think I was one missed payment away from moving back home, because deep down, I wanted to know, would my family still love me if they thought I had nothing to offer? The answer came slowly, then suddenly, the final straw was Damien and Nora's new mansion in Briarcliff Heights. 4 bedrooms. Fresh paint that smelled like wealth. A housewarming party I wasn't invited to, just a small gathering. My mom claimed small gatherings apparently had 70 people. That was the moment I stopped pretending it didn't hurt, and I focused every ounce of that pain into my company. By the time Titan Shield, one of the biggest cybersecurity giants in the world, approached us with an offer, Sentinel Forge was operating in 3 states, partnering with federal agencies and Fortune 500 companies. But my family still thought I fixed Wi-Fi routers. Titan Shield CEO shook my hand during the first meeting and said, Leo, we've been watching you grow for years. You built something most companies twice your size couldn't. The negotiations took months. Jonah and I flew across the country so many times I memorized airport carpet patterns. We went through audits, valuation reviews, late-night strategy calls, and then came the final number. $162 million. $42 million wired to me personally. The rest stock, bonuses, and a 3-year leadership contract. Life-changing, generational, and completely unknown to the people who once seated me at the kids' table. We signed the papers the day before Thanksgiving. Titan Shield planned to go public with the announcement Thanksgiving evening. Convenient timing for them, hilarious timing for me, because earlier that same week, my mom sent me the curated guest list text that effectively disinvited me from Thanksgiving. So when the news broke at 6:05 p.m. Eastern, I was sitting in my apartment eating noodles from a takeout box, watching a movie. At 6:07, my name hit Tech Today. At 6:12, Forbes. At 6:20, Bloomberg. At 6:30, CNN. At 6:47, my phone exploded. First call, a friend screaming congratulations. Second, a past mentor. Third, Jonah, laughing so hard he could barely breathe. Fourth, Mom. That I let it ring. Fifth, Damien, a voicemail. Sixth, Mom again. By the end of the night, I had over 40 missed calls. None of them from anyone who'd invited me to Thanksgiving dinner. The next morning, the story had grown. Wall Street Journal ran a feature. Business Insider did an analysis. My inbox drowned in interview requests. My family group chat, the one I'd been quietly removed from months ago, was suddenly accessible again. So I sent one message: hope dinner was good. I was busy with business stuff. Happy Thanksgiving. Attached, a link to my Forbes profile. Chaos. A mom called within 4 seconds. Damien within 10. Nora, who had never texted me, sent a paragraph about how everything was a misunderstanding. I ignored all of it. Saturday morning, the phone rang again, this time Damien's number, but Mom's voice: Leo, why didn't you tell us? We're your family. You asked about my computer thing every couple months. I told you it was going well. Not this well. That's exactly the point. Damien got on the line, using the same tone he saved for courtrooms. Leo, let's not be dramatic. Nora was just trying to keep Thanksgiving classy. So I wasn't classy enough, I said calmly. That's fine. She made a choice. So did you. We want you at Christmas, he blurted. No, both of them fell silent. Things will have to change before I come to anything again, I told them. And I'm not talking about money. The calls didn't stop. Nora's father, a retired judge who once looked me up and down like I'd tracked mud across his country club, phoned and tried to negotiate a reunion dinner like it was a settlement proposal that I declined, politely, then less politely, then directly. Sunday night, Damien flew across the country and showed up at my building unannounced. His suit was wrinkled. His hair a mess. His confidence cracked down the middle. He stepped into my apartment, a penthouse condo overlooking the bay, and looked like he'd walked into another planet. You live like this? He whispered. For years. He sank into a chair. I messed up, Leo. I was a bad brother. Yes, I said plainly. He blinked, stunned. I'm trying to apologize. And I hear you, I replied. But I needed a brother 6 years ago. Not when my net worth made me finally worth your attention. He swallowed hard. Are we done? No, I said. We're paused. Maybe one day we can build something real. But right now? I need distance from people who only see my value when it comes with commas. He left with his head down. The following weeks were a blur of interviews, strategy meetings, and press. Every reporter asked about my background, my family, how I stayed motivated. I kept it simple. I built Sentinel Forge in my apartment with one goal: to protect the small businesses everyone else ignored. I never mentioned the curated Thanksgiving list. I never mentioned the years of being dismissed. I never mentioned the moment everything shifted, because the truth is simple. Sometimes the people who underestimate you become the loudest ones applauding when the world finally notices your worth. But you never forget who clapped last. And you never forget who didn't clap at all. If you've ever outgrown the version of yourself your family decided you were, drop a comment. I'm reading all of them.